Hello everyone. Thank you Leandro for the intro, and thank you everyone for being here today. Also, a special thanks to our sponsor who made the event possible, to Dynamo Clever and Stock Shield. So I'm Lambert. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Vates, and in this talk I will not focus on the technical bits on what we do, but what we did, our vision, and where we want to go in the future with what we do. So, who we are first. So, Vates is a French company, created back in 2012 with three co-founders. We're based in Grenoble, just not far from Italy. Now there's around 40 plus people working in 3 different countries. In France, we've got a branch in Italy, obviously, and also we've got a branch in the US. So it's this pretty important, like we are software editors specialized in open source virtualization. So I will just explain a bit what it means. So being a software editor means that we are building our stack. So we do the software. We are not just using things, we are creating things. So it's important because you will see the fact that doing your own software gives you, really great opportunities. And we do open source virtualization. So I will explain just in the slide after what it means exactly, what is virtualization, a short reminder about it. And if you wonder how to make money, that's pretty simple, in fact. Our business is, as we build the software, we have a unique skills and expertise on what we do. And that's exactly what we are selling. We are selling the subscription support for running your virtualization stack in production, but that's the skills we have, that's in fact we are selling. So a quick reminder about virtualization. You know, it's there since the last 20 years, but we tend to forget a bit what it means in the existing, IT infrastructure. So basically, that's here, just on top of the hardware, and as a reminder, as you can see, you have virtual machine on top of it. So this is a critical component that is running your entire IT infrastructure, which could be on-premises, that could be private cloud, public cloud, hybrid cloud, the edge computing, and you can run whatever you like inside those machines that are fully isolated. So you could put AI, containers, whatever you want. This is basically the engine of the IT of today. And you can imagine as being there, it's very critical in many aspects. You have a problem here, you have a problem on everything that sits on top. It could be a security problem, configuration issue, and so on. So that's a critical piece of software running the existing IT. So now you know that it's critical. What we do exactly in this. So now virtualization is more than just splitting the hardware. It's a lot more than this. Thousands of virtual machines, you need to orchestrate those virtual machines. You need to back up those machines. You need to connect to data centers all around the world and so on. So as an administrator running this platform, you need something complete to do that. So we tell ourselves like we do basically the engine of the cloud. We do the virtualization platform, everything you need to run that into your IT infrastructure. Obviously, we are open source, and we are truly convinced about open source. And you all know the benefits of it. A quick reminder that basically, if I don't know for whatever reason we disappear, the code is still here. It exists. It's publicly accessible. Sure, you can copy the code. That's fine. But the skills we have, it's a lot harder to copy. And obviously, when you are open, it's easier to collaborate with people, to have, to connect with other systems and so on. And it's kind of a shortcut to access the market because people that are trying a solution, they can use it for free. Obviously, they won't have support, they won't have any assistance, but they can do that. And they become ambassadors. So that's the way to access the market in an easy fashion. Also, it's not just a technical way to do software, it's also a way to address the market. So if you know VMware, I made a quick way to compare the things. That's pretty similar in a way that you have the same architecture, roughly speaking. So, for example, the code is different, okay, but the way it's organized is very similar. So if you do a change from, for example, VMware to a solution, there is no function that you have to get in mind. You are not changing the way you use your IT infrastructure. It's just a another product, a bit different, but the concept is still the same. So how we do that, and I think that's, to me, important to tell about this today. Vates is a bootstrap business. It means we didn't have any investors on the start when we decided to start the company. And as soon as we commercialized the product, we were profitable. So we bootstrap basically everything. So obviously, when we bootstrap, the growth is steady. You have a reasonable growth, and then you grow the company, and then you grow your sales, and so on and so on. This allows you to build something that is sustainable. Sustainable means you can hire people step by step, create an identity, keep your values, and that's really, really important, especially when you want to build, when the skills, knowledge inside the company is your core value as we have at Vates. So that's why, for example, we have a very high retention rate for employees. That's, to me, the consequence of our vision and the way we want to build it. And to do that, you also need to keep the decision centers and the research and development close to you. We're based in France, and all our research and development is made. And for us, that's truly capital, because if you do that, it's easier to work, because culturally speaking, it's easier to work with people that are, with exactly or very similar. But also, you keep that knowledge close to you, and you can make decisions, build a team, and so on, very close to you. Sales and support is a bit different. The idea is to go where the growth is, but it's not, I would say, critical as the skills and the research and development. So, from the start was, when we wanted to start a company and we were bootstrapped, was to stay in control of what we do. So, that's the way to keep our destiny in our hands, by ourselves, and having everything done close to us. So we had this steady growth. Everything went well. We're growing at a pace. It was fine. And then we had a huge opportunity that just appeared, announced now 2 years ago, and it's the acquisition of VMware by Google. Most of you heard about it. What they did is they are basically kind of killing the product. The acquisition was like 60 billion, very large one. And WorldCom decided less than 1 year ago to kill many programs, to raise the price and changing the rule of the game while you're playing. So obviously a lot of people were not happy with that. And when people started to say, okay, what's next or what's after here, what do we have? And you have many other companies, but all of them are non-European companies, and they don't have the level of trust you might expect for something that critical, which is your virtualization solution. I gave some examples, but some are not focused to that. Some want to push you in something else where they have bigger margin. Some might be acquired, to be acquired. So we think that this opportunity gives us the right timing to become the European alternative in transforming this market that is just for too long now one big player and many other US or Chinese players. So obviously, this opportunity is for us a game changer. We are entering a new era, I would say, where now all our new customers are coming from VMware. And you've seen the change in the last year, roughly, where we had bigger and bigger leads and bigger companies coming to us asking for, okay, I need to migrate, I like your products, but let's move on, let's do something. And what's important is virtualization is so pervasive, it's everywhere. So you have any kind of customer you can imagine. It could be a school, it could be a huge university, it could be an agency, institution, public sector, defense, you name it, everyone is using it. So the potential is huge. And at some point we were enough visible to then Gartner guide. In fact, there's 2 guides. There's the virtualization guide and the integrated market guide. And if you open this guide and check what we have inside it in terms of European companies, if you seek for a European software vendor that is focused on server virtualization, there's only one that is European, and that's us. And against that, there's around 40 other companies that are either US or Chinese based. So again, that's something big for us. So what's happening right now, the irony of the thing is, sure, we are the only one focused on that in Europe, but right now the growth is not in Europe, it's in the US. It's more than half of our revenue that's generated by the US market alone. And in terms of growth, that's really, really huge there. Less than 1 year, we have 50% growth just in the US market itself. We think there's some reason for that. Some of the reason is the US is developed an alternative because they are kind of more keen to take some risk and try something else. And even when they decide to purchase something, they are kind of directly say, okay, I'm interested. Here my credit card, I want to purchase that, even if it's a lot of money. And they are really, really fast to adopt the solution. And if they do that, it's not because we're French or European, they don't care about that. And they all told me that use your solution because it works. And it was surprising for me at the start. And what do you mean? Because it works. But you have many other products in this area where not complete or making some impossible promises and things like this. We just deliver something that exists and that works. That makes a difference in a market where they don't care about the fact we're European. Obviously, for that, we are ramping up our sales and support in the US because, as I said, we're providing support, so it's good to have support close to your customers are, and obviously for having an efficient sales team, it's better to have US people talking to US people. But in Europe, things are moving forward. Finally, I would say, we've seen that in the last 4 months, we have more and more EU-based public sector coming to us, and we detecting the fact that they're now aware of the risk of using something that critical made by VMware or even Nutanix or Microsoft. Because they now realize, finally, that this critical piece of software, you cannot source it like you source something, not important. For example, they told us, we said, okay, we need to get a virtualization platform. Who is the number one? Let's take the number one. There's no risk by using the number one, right? And then they realize there's a risk if you don't take time to analyze the situation, to assess the competitors, who is based where, and so on. And that's why we're seeing this increase in people demanding something that is based in Europe. Because they know the way we do business is not the classical, purely financial one that you might see for big US companies, or for other reasons, maybe for some Chinese companies. So it's a bit slower, there's a lag between the US, but the trend is going to the right direction. So it's pretty good. So that's what's happening, but now what's next? And I think that's important that I explain this today. Charles will go into the details on how to achieve our strategy and so on, but I just wanted to explain what we want to achieve here today. We want to use our knowledge on building this engine that is used for any kind of stuff, like improving the hardware to work well with our software, building cloud products, cloud solutions, with some SaaS software that can use our solution. We want to partner to help building verticals that are based in Europe. Because to us, that's a way to build trust in the ecosystem. If you have the research and development, the decision center in Europe, then it's a lot easier to work together to finally get a great ecosystem. So, in one sentence, I would say that that's what we want to achieve, is really creating this technological and cloud industry that is made in Europe. And that's something that we are now starting to do. Sure, we have growth, and thanks to Broadcom, beginning of the month. Thanks to Broadcom, we have more revenue, are able to achieve our targets. We have a good track record, but I think that's interesting to understand that when our ambition is to create this European ecosystem, I'm not talking about theoretical stuff like, let's work together and publish papers and do some interesting theories and so on. We have a concrete success, we have a technology that works, we have revenue, we're making money basically. So let's do something together. That's the idea. We want to go beyond that, beyond our own success by itself. But to do it, we won't do it alone. It's a pretty big ambition, so we need to work together to achieve this ambition. So first, it's assembling people that are in the tech in cloud industry and discuss together what we can do to improve our solution, their solution, and have a joint growth basically. To do that, we also need political support. And the last point, which is really important to me, is I think as a European, we've seen many people that are basically waiting for a player worldwide. You don't have to wait. You have to trust and make sometimes a leap of faith and become an early adopter in the European market. I mean, now in the US, it's not early adopters anymore, it's like a standard thing. But in Europe, we are just waiting for things to happen. So the message I want to convey also, as a technology consumer, you have a responsibility. If you adopt the product, it would not be just money going to the company, but also feedback, improving the product and so on. Starting to engage with European provider of technology software is really important to realize this vision. And to me, that's what today. So why here? Why in Italy? Obviously, the Italian market is great, there's a lot of potential, there's a lot of industries. But to me, the interesting aspect that first, the public sector is really open source friendly. And this is really, really helpful because I think it's understood what open source can bring to you. If you help develop project or finance project and so on, the money is well spent because it's freely accessible to anyone. So it's not like giving something without nothing in return. And that's understood here in Italy, and that's really important. That's probably helped us a lot to deploy with very large entities, right, in Italy. And also we know that our countries are friends. We have especially in the defense sector, but not only. And that means this is something that makes sense, in the way of getting closer in terms of development. Obviously, the research ecosystem is great. We have places like this, which is kind of unique, but to me that's an illustration that a great place where you can exchange, work together. There's great universities, and that's where we want to continue to invest, not just in France, but also in Italy. This, high trained and skilled teams. So that's the reason we made our first public event as this here in Italy. And to conclude, that's again the idea, the vision we want to achieve. What we hope to do is to act as catalyzers in this, cloud and tech ecosystem. And again, with concrete products, not just theory and reports and things like that. We have a technology, it works. That. So I hope you will enjoy the summit and talk and exchange the ideas to go to achieve this ambition. Thank you very much.